All right, shalom, shalom, yasharala. This is Brother Yahweh from the GMS Nashville camp. And before I get started with this lesson, I want to give all praise and glory honors to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS is pushing this word through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. But I got it back at it with another lesson. Lord willing, this lesson will be edifying for the brothers and sisters, sincere sisters who are going to be watching. But the title of this lesson is World War III Update. U.S. troops being deployed will strike at any force. All right. So you can see on this article on RT News that we all know about. The title of the article is Syrian Oil, U.S. troops being deployed will strike any force challenging occupation. All right. So I'm probably going to read and skim through this. Once again, Lord willing, this lesson be edifying. But really what's going on, man, is just prophecies being fulfilled. All right. Russia and different African nations are having meetings and talks on forming an alliance to take on NATO, which is really being set up to take the USSR, which was the Soviet Union at one point. Like I just said, it's just Bible prophecies being fulfilled as we speak. And it's going to be led to a downfall of this westernized society, which is Babylon the Great, modern day Egypt, modern day Sodom, which is known as America. All right. So I'm going to read this real quick. This is American missionized forces have begun deploying at Syrian oil fields. Ostentability, if I pronounced that wrong, Salaki, I believe I butchered it, to stop the remnants of Islamic State from seizing them and will respond overwhelming force to protect them. All right, and really what's America's doing is really they're just, what America likes to do is do a problem and solution. They create a problem and then try to come up with a solution for them that only benefits them and not benefit anything that they've done harm to the other nation. All right, it's just going back to the petrodollar. All right, well, I looked up the word petrodollar. It's really actually pretty long, but I'm just gonna read a little bit of it. It says what a petrodollar is. It's a U.S. dollar paid to an oil exporting country for the sale of commodity. Put simply, the petrodollar system is an exchange of oil for U.S. dollars between countries that buy oil and those that produce it. The petrodollar was the result of the oil crisis in the mid-1970s when prices spiked to record levels. It helped increase the stability of oil prices dominating in U.S. dollars. The term reigned neutrally in the early part of the 2000s when oil prices rose up again. Although petrodollars entailed referred primarily to money that Middle Eastern countries and members of the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, received, a definition has grown it to include other countries in recent years. All right, so really it's just a trade to get oil. What you basically have to do is you have to convert into U.S. dollars, which the U.S. dollar is being backed up by petro. A petrodollar is not being backed up by anything. That's why we always say the U.S. dollar now is not backed up by anything, because these other countries have dropped the U.S. dollar, like Venezuela, Russia, China. They don't want to deal with that. So they're not down with it. They understand, these other nations, they understand that this fiat currency is really not leading to anything, like I just said. But since it doesn't back up by anything and the U.S. dollar is on the verge of dropping, it's going to do nothing but lead to war. All right, the U.S. is gonna try to back up their investments. All right, so back onto reading this. Following the withdrawal of U.S. forces from northern Syria earlier this month and the killing of Islamic State or formerly ISIS leader, I'm gonna butcher this name, so Salakia, forgive me on this, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. On Saturday night, American forces in Syria apparently have a new mission: protect the oil. Secretary of Defense Mark Esper said at a press conference on Monday that American merchandise forces have already deployed to protect oil fields in eastern Syria. The mission on its surface aims to keep these oil fields in the hands of the Kurdish-led Syrian Democratic Forces, Washington's former allies, in the fight against ISIS. The American troops, he said, will respond with overwhelming military force against any group who threatens the safety of our forces there. When asked whether the U.S. would potentially respond with force against Russia or Syrian forces, Esper simply responded, yes. All right. So really, once the U.S. dollar collapsed, that's going to cause the nations to go to war. you're going to see a huge systematic breakdown in the economy that deals with the U.S. dollar. All right. So we're going to see they have their putting their responses on Twitter. Aaron, I think, no, not fact. These are just people putting in their opinions on things. Let me read this. Esper's apparent threat comes hot on heels of Moscow accusing the U.S. of facilitating the oil smuggling in Syria. Russian Defense Ministry spokesperson Major General Igor Salakia, forgive me for butchering this word, Konaskov, called the U.S. oil field operation state-sponsored banditry and accused Washington of leaving its forces there to help oil smugglers pillage Syria's natural resources. The ministry published aerial images on Saturday that it claims show crude oil being smuggled out of country under the strong protection of the U.S. So I'm going to get this. This is Revelation 6:4. And there went out another horse that was red, and power that was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another, and it was given unto him. All right, and that sword is Esau Edom's military, the so-called white man's military. All right, he uses his weaponry, space force, and nuclear weapons. He's making like a spectrum out of demolishing these other nations with the sword, because the earth was given into the hands of the wicked, and who's that? Esau Edom, the so-called white race. They run over everybody, all right? And also in Psalms 55:21, matter of fact, let's just get it. Psalms 55:21, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet they were drawn swords. And who drawn swords, man? The so-called white man. He goes to every other country, taking everyone's natural resources, and threatens them and enslaves them, terrorizes them, and kills them, man, just to get their natural resources, man. Because the so-called white man is gluttonous. He likes to take everything from everybody. All right, to something small as in copying Jake and trying to steal their music and their moves and with their talent, to trying to take over other countries and take over the resources that can put them in control. Or be over controlled by them. No, not slacking, not that. Let me reword it. The so-called white man can be in control over these other nations. All right. So let me get Obadiah 1:5. If these came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they have not stolen till they had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? Right. And like I got back to the so-called white man being gluttonous, man. He just takes, man. Because you got to realize, man, if you don't realize that we're living on stolen land that's been nothing but raped, robbed, pillaged, and killed, look, man, there's something wrong with you, because this is the type of land that we're living on. Because the scriptures even say where we are, who did it, who it is. It's Esau Edom, man. All right. The so-called white man. But there's a lot of Jakes out there that don't believe prophecy. But, oh, that ain't true. That ain't this. That ain't that. How do you know, man? You don't know a goddamn thing. This is Micah 2:1. Read down to 2. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is the power of their hand. And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. Now, if this doesn't scream the so-called white man, then who is this talking about, man? Like, out of all seriousness, all jokes aside. Because the Bible is talking about the same devils who are doing things that they've been doing since the beginning and still doing it to this day. Robbing, pillaging, stealing, taking everything. Let me get Jeremiah 50:1-3, and I'm going to hop to 9. Jeremiah 50:1. The word of the Lord spake against Babylon and against the land of the Chaldeans by Jeremiah the prophet. Declare ye among the nations and publish, which means to push this word, speak out. All right, not have this be hidden. And set up a standard, publish and conceal not. Say Babylon is taken, Bel is confounded. Merodach is broken into pieces. Her idols are confounded, her images are broken into pieces. and back to when Yahushua was on the scene. I believe that Merodach, which was an idol, it goes back to Christmas, man. All right, and this is just nothing. All these wicked demons and what they got going on, all these idols, they're just they're literally just being pushed onto Babylon, and it's stuck in your Babylonians' heads, man. Y'all follow these different just demonic idols and just certain things that just don't add up to the scriptures at all, man. Well, they do add up to the scriptures, but you people are going off. All right, 50-3. For out of the north there cometh up a nation against her, which is Russia and these other nations that don't side with America, which shall make her land desolate, and none shall dwell therein. They shall remove, they shall depart, both man and beast. All right, because these other nations, they're tired of America, man. All right, of all jokes aside, they're just tired of it, man. Look what's going on, man. Russia's always talking about going to war with America. Iran's always talking about it. All right, and then Russia already said if the U.S. goes to war with Iran, Russia's gonna back them up, along with China, man. And the way that things are going and prophecies being fulfilled is gonna happen, man. The Lord's gonna have it happen. Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai is gonna allow it to happen because it's part of prophecy. Do we know what day is gonna happen? Hell no, we don't. We don't know when time these things will come to pass. We just know it's going to come to pass. All right. This is Revelations 9:12. One woe is past, and behold, I'm going to read down to 17. Woe one is past, and behold, there come two woes more hereafter. Verse 13. And the sixth angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the four horns of the golden altar, which is before Yahweh. Verse 14. Saying, the sixth angel which had the trumpet, loose the four angels which are bound in the great river of Euphrates. All right, and the four angels, their names are Michael, Ariel, Raphael, and Gabriel. Verse 15. And the four angels were loosed, which were departed for an hour, and a day, and a month, and a year, for to slay the third part of men. And that's talking about the Edomite nation, the so-called white man. They're that third part of men. All right, verse 16. And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000, and I heard the number of them. And that's talking about the missiles, all right? And verse 17, this is really self-explanatory. And if you don't get it, you can just look it up, more info on it. But verse 17, and thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them having breastplates of fire, and of jacinth, if I pronounced that wrong, Salakia, and brimstone, and the heads of the horses were all the heads of lions, and out of their mouths issued fire, smoke, and brimstone. And that's talking about the breakdown of a nuclear warhead, all right? I wanted to also get back in Revelations 11th chapter. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly, right? And that goes back to Revelation 9 and 12. It's things that came to pass. The first woe, World War I. Second woe, World War II. And now the third woe that's coming quickly, it's America, man. The third woe, this is the war to end all wars, man. All right? Fighting in the valley of Jehoshaphat. All right? Russia MOD says U.S. protects oil smugglers in Syria, offers aerial images as proof. Though much noise has been made about protecting oil fields from the remnants of ICE, the shattered jihadist group has not made any moves towards seizing them. Asked whether the fields and the American forces they were under any threat, Esper replied, not at this time. President Trump, I just said that. President Trump had previously promised to bring all of the 1,000 or so U.S. troops in Syria home after the withdrawal from the country's north. However, some will be moved to Iraq, while more will now remain behind at the oil fields. It is still unclear how many troops will stay in Syria, and that's the thing with the U.S., man. They always say, "Oh, the troops are coming home. Troops coming home." Then something happens, and they lie to people and tell them that they're coming home, but they're really not. They're going, shipped somewhere else or staying where they're at. They always do that. You're always thinking that daddy's coming home or da-da-da-da-da. He's been stationed. He's coming back. He's deployed. Da-da-da-da. But it comes to find out that he has to stay there or go somewhere else, relocate somewhere else. It's always been like that, man. Trump's been doing nothing but sending a lot of troops. I can't remember how many he sent in total, but he's been sending a lot, man. 1,000. All right. And we've been saying this for a while. All right, because it's playing upon tables. It's being shown in the news, in the media, on RT News. It's all being shown, man. And if you people can't believe it and you people don't see it, can't believe it, don't want to believe it, whatever, hey, man, that's all on you. All right, because we're not about to go back and forth with you on this. All we know is that prophecy is being fulfilled. It is written in paper to be faithful and true, which is 2nd Ezra, the 9th chapter, the 2nd verse. Prophecy will be fulfilled, man. All right, World War III is in the Bible. All right, destruction of America is in the Bible. All right, and if you don't get it, you scoff or whatever, it's not meant for you, man. It's not meant for you. All right, get ready to die. All right. And if you're an Israelite, repent. If not, then get ready to die too. Because this is all part of Jacob's trouble, all right? U.S. troops being deployed will strike at any force challenging occupations. Well, yeah, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to touch on that real quick. Little one, this is edifying for you brothers and sisters who will be watching. But before I close, I want to give all praise and glory honors to Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahushai, Ba'Shem, Rakak, Wadash. Double honors to the apostle. Notice the GMS is pushing this word through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahushai. You brothers keep fighting this good fight of faith. We're getting each and every day. We're getting a step closer of getting into the kingdom. You brothers keep fighting. Shalom and Mawaf Ball.